Alright, so we are back. Let's go over what we're going to actually do here, and then I'll do my best to show you. So, inside of parts bag B, there are two blue rings. They go into the female end of this here and here. So there's two of them. One goes on each side. It doesn't say to use any lubricant or anything, so I think we're good there. Now, coming down here, this is part gets a little bit tricky. Essentially what it's saying is if you're going to use the bypass valve, which we are right here, right? Sorry, I had to sneeze. So here's the bypass valve. If you're going to use it, what you need to do is you actually need to take these guys and pull the propeller, this little guy right here, out of this one. And you can tell it's this one because it's got this weird little thing on the side of it, right? And also, if you look at it from the end, you can see that there's a propeller in there, right? And I'll show you how that comes out here in just a second. So you're going to pull that out of this piece, and you're actually going to put it into this piece. Now, I was looking at this, and I was trying to figure out, how do I tell which side's which, like, just to be sure. And from here, the picture kind of shows all the threads and the weird stuff at the other end. So if you kind of lay it out like this, there you go. But also, another thing that I realized is that these two, if you look at it from the top, this one is shorter than this one, right? So if you hold this up to this, you'll see that they actually fit. One is meant to be shorter, okay? So what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to take these clamps off right here. These come off, and there's a gasket inside of here. These will thread on, both of these will thread on to here. Then this whole main bypass valve body will slide onto those pieces, and then you'll put the clamps back down on them, and it'll hold it in place. And then we'll have to attach this. And if I didn't already mention this step, the rotor that's coming out of here goes into this side. This is the outlet side, coming out this way. So let's do that. So again, here's this guy. It's got this little slot on it. Now, there's a clamp on here. If you pull on both sides like this, it comes off pretty easy. It's a 3-port, so there's 1, 2, 3 ports. Actually, 4. I was wrong. Oh no, 3. It's got those 3 ports. Okay, so we're going to pull this off. And this is what the other bypass valve looks like. It's got the gasket here, threads here. So that's why I was saying you thread this onto the main control valve, and then you just slide the bypass valve body onto this because it's got these gaskets. So this gets put to the side, and you can see right here there's something in the way. And if I just flip it over like I just did, this comes out. Now, something to note, I pulled this thing apart once and put it back together. Something to note is you'll see that there's little extra edges here on 4 sides, right? And those have to go in just right in the next piece, and we'll show you that. So if I put that little propeller off to the side, I grab this guy. Again, this is, oh, that twists. This guy is going to come out like that. This should now just slide out. Put that off to the side as well. Oh, those gaskets look like they're already lubricated. Okay, so down in here, not sure how well you can see that. Yeah, it's not going to show it very well. But down in there, there's the 4 little slots for the propeller to fit into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the propeller. I'm going to try and line up those slots, and I'm going to drop it down in there. Let's see if it, oh, there it goes. See how it went all the way down in there? Give it a little twist. So again, this part is already lubricated. You can see it's all shiny. I'm going to pop this back down in here. Just so we have the pieces all in one place. And I can actually skip this and not put that back on. I'm going to keep this kind of standing up so that that propeller doesn't fall out and get damaged or something like that. One thing I was going to note is that the propeller has, I'm guessing those are 2 either little magnets or pieces of metal that's using a magnet or something like that that senses how fast this thing is spinning, and that's how you're actually measuring your water flow. So I thought that was kind of cool. So let's drop that back down in there. Again, give it a little twist, and it drops all the way down in. Let's go to this other side, the longer side. Pull out the clamp. Pull out the body. Not the body, that insert. Stand up the bypass valve over here. So again, that propeller's not going to come out. I just pulled out the inlet side. So I'm going to flip this around. Oh, you know what? We forgot. The blue gaskets out of bag B. Let me grab those real quick. Alright. So, let's get the blue gaskets in here. Stick them on my finger. And they actually set back there pretty nicely. Like, I'm not having to, like, hold them in or anything. Let's get the second one on this side. So once they're back there, then they're fine. Now one thing that bothered me is this thing is like fed through here. All weird, and I'm not sure if that's just for shipping or if that's actually just gonna like fit in exactly where it needs to be in a minute here. We'll give that a go. Alright, on to installing the two gasket bodies. Now let me make sure these are the same because I might have switched these up. So I'm looking at these. The one on the right doesn't look lubricated, the one on the left is. So let's get that turned around and thread it on. Now those little blue ones that I just put in, those looked a lot like what you'd see on a hose, like a garden hose. Inside, if you pull open or if you unthread a garden hose, you'll find a little gasket inside of the garden hose. That's kind of what that looks like. So, get that as tight as I can by hand. Alright. Let's get the other side on. I'm trying not to touch the lubricated piece if I can. And once I get it threaded, it just goes on pretty easy. Now it does have something you could put like a crescent wrench or something on. I'm not sure that's needed because as long as you're up against that gasket in the back, you should be fine. So now my hands are getting slippery because I am touching this just a little bit. I'm going to stop trying to thread those. It doesn't say how tight to put those on either. So I'm just going to stop at that. Now again, taking this part, it's pretty self-explanatory at this point because, you know, it's the only way it can go on. Slide this guy on. I have to use two hands here for a second so I don't push the resin tank over. Okay, so one thing is that this body right here kind of flexes right here. So it was easier to get this whole thing on, making that flex a little. But it did take two hands. So now we're going to come back with these clamps. And these clamps should just go right down in those slots there. And that's pretty darn easy. Until it clicks. And there's a louder click. Okay, we are now on to page 9, part D it looks like. I may have jumped ahead a little here. These guys I'm going to put to the side because they're kind of in my way at the moment. And we are just going to put them in one of the extra boxes we have from all the parts. This guy says to do this, which we already did. We slid that on there, or we got those threaded on, slid it on, and then put the clips in to hold it in place. We already got this inserted. And now, here we go. So now we got to get the bypass valves onboard water meter probe dock, ensuring it's securely seated as shown below. So that little wire that I was mentioning, let's see if it is just right in place here. So this does have a direction. You'll notice that the probe itself is kind of rounded on one side and flat on the other. So it's trying to go just straight down in. Let's line this puppy up and see. There we go. Let's line this puppy up. Yeah, so the cord seems to be okay, so I've got to stretch it just a little bit to get it down in there like this. Once I've got that, it then clicks into place. Down here is the clip, and that's seated properly. So let's go to step 4. Connect the brine line to the brine tank. Let's see what all this looks like. Now I'm currently working on top of the brine tank, so we're gonna have to move everything, get this set up. So let's do that.